Right. All right. So we're back at it. We're back at it. So what your next move is going to need to be is you need to read the conversation. So right, what we need to do is we need to go into the conversation and we need to highlight all of the changes and the explanations for the current assets, the long-term assets, and the overall capital structure. We need to go through, we need to highlight all of the commentary that they have regarding changes in the capital structure. Why did total assets go down? Why did total assets go up? Why did liabilities go down? Why did liabilities go up? Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to open up the financial statements and we need to do the same thing. We need to highlight all the changes that we notice, all the big changes. Why did cash go down? Why did cash go up? So I'm going to do that off screen and then I'm going to come back and hopefully you do the same. If you want to be a good analyst, you're going to have to be able to go into a conversation and connect the changes you see on the balance sheet with the commentary that they provide. And then that's what we're going to put right here in this liquidity section. Okay. Okay, so um, now we're going to go back up. I've highlighted everything and I color coded my highlights. So the pink highlights tell us information that we're going to put into the character section. It tells us what the business does, how many employees, and how long they've been in business. The green tells us changes in their long-term assets. The purple tells us changes in their sales revenue. And again, it's like the purple on the balance sheet and the income statement as well. They coincide, the colors. Light blue tells us changes in their debt. Uh, we don't really get much insight on the personnel change. So I noticed that this went up 100K, but it could just be that they're working their employees more hours. And the same with the general admin expenses. It could be just that they're just working more hours. They note inside of here that in 2022, in 2023, stores opened back up in response to COVID. So I'm just guessing that they have reduced hours in 2022, and then in 2023, the hours went back to normal. They also explain what goes on with here. So that's my guess. So for the sake of keeping it short and simple, for the cash cycle, remember this company, we don't have inventory and we don't have so we don't have inventory for this company. Accounts payable are relatively low. They're around 2 and 11 days, and if we check the balance sheet, they stay pretty low at 126.85, 458 and $72,000. So impact on cash historically, historically, management maintains a maintains low payables. And then let's add another bullet point talking about what happens in the industry. Compared to the industry, the borrower increases cash slightly. So as far as the impact on cash, management maintains low payables, although it is not common in the industry to do so. Period. Okay, two statements, real quick. Okay, so we don't really have to go too much into explaining what's going on with accounts payables, but let's say you do have accounts payables that go up a lot. There might be a statement inside of here that talks about what management strategy is. Like management is trying to keep cash on hand. And even if they don't say that, you can confirm whether or not management is trying to keep cash on hand by checking whether or not their cash cycle changes significantly. So let's say management wants to keep cash on hand. Their AR goes up. Their AR days on hand go up. If their payables go up in order to keep their cash cycle relatively the same, then you can make a safe assumption that yes, they're doing that in response to the payables going up and in response to the receivables taking longer to be collected on. And that's how they keep cash on hand. Okay? That's how that works. Remember how the cash cycle works. But we'll just keep it short and simple. This section doesn't have to be too in depth. We just want to know, why is AR going up or down? Right? AR. Yeah. AR has fluctuated in recent periods as a result of the decreased receivables in 2023. In 2023, the borrower reported increased sales demand from pent up orders resulting from the 19 pandemics, reduced grocery store hours, right? Keep it short and simple. 2023 is the only year where it's out of whack, right? AR has since increased to historic levels. The borrower has, and we can open up the financial statement for this statement. What I'm about to say is that the borrower has good controls over their AR. And if you wanted to, what we could do is we could open up the accounts receivable aging report, and we could look and we could see what are the terms that they're offering, right? So they're offering terms up to 120 days. The borrower has good controls over the AR, offering terms up to 120 days to customers who mostly repay within 30 days. As of year to date 2025. And remember, if we compare this statement, who mostly repay within 30 days as of year to date 2025, look, they're paying within that time. And they're in the median industry quartile. So we want days on hand to be lower. So this is where the green people are at. This means you're green, this area right here. So the borrower outperforms the industry relating to days on hand. The borrower outperforms the industry median of 39 days relating to days on hand, right? Okay, so quick little statements. And then for inventory, you would say something similar, okay? But since I don't have inventory, what I'm going to say is the borrower does not historically report inventory, period. Okay, if you don't have inventory, you can put this statement. If you do have inventory, you got an extra challenge on your hands, and it's going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, so why is the cash cycle going up and down? Right. Let's take this away. Cash cycle. Let's change that to just say cash cycle. Okay, is it good or bad? Okay. Right. No. The fluctuations in cash cycle come as a result of management of payables. Now let's check what their management of payables is like, right? They paid off a ton of money. You see that? They paid off $400,000 worth of payables. So the fluctuations in cash cycle come as a result of management repaying money sign 400M. And I like to just put this little symbol there, which means around. So 400M of payables. In year to date 2025 and increased demand in fiscal year end 2023 period. And let's come down here. Let's not just leave it at, let's say fiscal year end 2023 in fiscal year end 2023 FYE. Make sure that you have the fiscal year end and all that, but we can keep the statement simple for this section. We don't have to go too crazy. We don't have to go too hard, because remember, our working capital, we don't have to go too hard right there because we've already done the working capital stress test, which tells us everything that we need to know. If receivables go up, right? If receivables take longer to collect, and if payables they're paying them faster, then all that's going to happen is we're going to need $1 million in financing, right? 1.4 mil. Now, they're asking for $1 million, so they're not going to need additional capital. And actually, let's go ahead and add this this statement here, right? Let's come down to our working capital stress test. Let's add one more comment. The requested money sign $1 million line of credit is sufficient to support working capital needs, right? The requested $1 million line of credit. And if you're noticing that this number is way bigger than the loan that you have, what you would say right here is the requested $1 million line of credit is not sufficient. It's not sufficient, right? But for me, $1 million is exactly what we're proposing in the loan. And this is just a statement so that we don't have to go here and do a super in-depth analysis. We already did that analysis when we performed our stress test. So as we can see, this company does have a decent amount of control over their days on hand, because it's relatively 24 to 30 years every single year. But it fluctuates in 2023, not because they lost control of receivables. It fluctuates because they had increased demand. So their receivables in general just went down. As we see right here, these companies right here, they repaid their receivables accounts. They paid down 100K worth of receivables. And that's not like they didn't make sales. They made a lot of sales in that year too. They made way more sales than the year before, but most of those sales weren't done on receivables. They were done through cash because those companies needed that supply ASAP. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, try to make sense of it. It's a hard concept to wrap your head around, I know. And again, if it doesn't make sense, it's because you have to wrap your head around the idea of what's happening here. receivables go up, that's not in management's control. If receivables go up, then it means that their customers are paying slower. And if they're paying slower and sales are going down, then that means there's a red flag. That's a horrible sign. Now, if it goes the other way, then that's a good sign. That's good for us, right? If receivables go up and sales go up, then that means that receivables are going up because sales are going up and sales are being made on account. People are buying stuff on account. Now, if sales go up and receivables go down, that means that people are purchasing not on account. It means that people are purchasing with cash, which is even better than sales going up and cash going up. Or better than sales going up and receivables going up. Again, if you don't understand what's going on here, you need to go into the textbook. Let me see what page. You need to go into the textbook, right? And you need to read pages 33 through pages 37. So if you don't understand what's going on here, you need to read pages 33 through pages 37. So that's 5 pages. And it's in the capacity section, and it's titled Working Capital. Okay, you're going to have to read that whole thing, and it'll make it make sense for you. It's not going to make sense until you read that section, though. Okay? All right. And while you're at it, you should also read what's happening in the sales section, so the income statement. Okay? And this thing right here will make more sense to you, what's going on. But you need to understand the relationship between sales and receivables. Anyways, that's the video for working capital, guys.